Hello everyone. Welcome to the fourth tutorial class on operating system, and it will be presented by myself, Dr. Sudhir Mondal. And in this class, we shall discuss a new topic, that is process. We get different important concept on process, like what is the difference, what is the definition of the process, what are the differences between process and a program, and after that we shall discuss the process scheduling, like a only one process should be executed at one time, so that's why you need to schedule the process. So that is called the process scheduling. After that we shall discuss about the process control block, that stored the different information associated with the process. And after that, different scheduler, that means how can we schedule different process. uh, all this topic will be covered in this tutorial class. Okay, so let's start. So first of all, let's get the definition of a process. So a process is nothing but a program which is in execution. Okay, so formally you can call it a process, or a task is an instance of a program in execution. Okay, we know that program is a consist of some kind of instruction or code that is written in high level language, or like C, MATLAB, etc., etc. That is called a program. Um, Now, whenever a program is in execution, that is called a process. Okay, so that is the basic or minor difference between program and a process. Now, a process, whenever process is in execution, lots of activity are going on, and its current activities, information associated with the current activities, all are stored in the PCB, that is called the program control block. Okay, the details of the PCB will be discussed later in this class. Now, what we shall just for your information, defined in activities like value of the program counter, value of the stack pointer, content of the different processor, state of the process, it's and the like defined parameter, return address, local variable, global variable, different data file, all the information associated with the process, all are stored in the PCB. Okay, now process state. Now whenever a process is in execution, so it changes its state. Okay, now what is state? So state of a process is the current activity of the corresponding process. Okay, now there are five type of state of a process can be defined. The first of all is new. What is new? When a process is created, that is called the new. That state is called new. Now, when a process is waiting to be assigned to be executed by a processor, that is called the ready. That state is called ready. Okay. Now, when a process is in execution, that is called the running. Now, sometimes it is possible that a process have to wait for some event to occur, like IO, input output operation, like printing some file, etc., etc. So in that scenario, we call a process is in waiting state. Now terminated, when a process has finished, so finish its execution, we call its process as terminated. So all these five state can be possible during the execution of a process. Okay, now let's see how these process state are associated with each other. Okay, it should remember that many process may be in ready state or waiting state at the same time, but only one process can be running by only by any processor at any instant. So that is the main concept, that many processes, like you can see that whenever a process is being created, that is called the new process. So the corresponding state is new. Now when it is ready for execution, or it is by an CPU or processor, so it go to the ready state. Now there is a scheduler that schedule the corresponding process, and it is started to be executed by the CPU or processor. Then its state is moving into the running state. Now if the execution has been completed, then obviously the process will be terminated. However, if there is some kind of interrupt happen, obviously the corresponding process will be go to the in ready mode. Okay, until unless the The interrupt corresponding process has been completed, then again it will move to the running state by corresponding scheduler. Moreover, it is possible that some IO event occurred, that when input output request has been received. So in that case again the corresponding running process will move into the waiting state, and after the input output completion, IO event completion, it will go to the again ready state, and after that scheduler schedule the corresponding process for the execution by CPU, and it will running until unless the execution will be completed and it will move into the terminated state. So that's how all the state of a process are interrelated with each other. Now, what are the differences between process and program? So first point is that both are the same beast with different name. Okay. Now, when the beast is sleeping, that is called the program, and when it is executing, it become process. That is the main difference between a program and process. Obviously, as the mm, uh, a process as a program is in execution is called process, so obviously program is a static object, wherever a process is a dynamic object. Okay. Next point is that a program is stored in the secondary storage like ROM. uh, okay, whereas a process reside in the main memory, that is in RAM. So whenever we know that whenever a program is in execution state, so it should be moved into this RAM or main memory. Okay, so that is the another differences between process and program. Next, the span time of a program is unlimited. That means it can stay into the its memory for a long time or unlimited time, but the span time of a process is limited. Within the particular time it should be completed. That is the another difference. We can call it also that a process is an active entity because it is its execution is going on, whereas a process program is an passive entity. Okay. And another thing, a program is an algorithm expressed in programming language or high level language, whether a process is expressed in assembly language or machine level language. So these are the six major differences between a process and program. Now the process scheduling. Scheduling is another very fundamental and important operation or function of an operating system. When a computer is multi-programmed, there are several processes that should be completed by the CPU at the same time. Now, if only one CPU is available, then a critical choice need to be made, that which process should be executed first or which process should be executed next. So this decision making process is known as the scheduling process scheduling, and the part of the OS that makes the choice is called in making is scheduling algorithm. Okay, clear? This is called the process scheduling algorithm. So the basic concept is that among lots of process that are in queue, the CPU need to take a decision that which process should be executed and which process should be executed next. So that is called the process scheduling. Now, before a process execution is started, many process can come into the CPU, but all the process will be initially stored in a queue, that is called the process scheduling queue. Now there are three types of queue queues are possible. One is called, first one is job queue, another is ready queue, third one is the device queue. Now what is job queue? This queue consists all of the process in the system, and those processes are entered into the system as a new process. So whenever a new process has been created, all the process will be initially stored in the job queue. Now ready queue, This queue consists of the processor that are residing in the main memory. That means those are ready to be executed, and they are waiting, just waiting to get a CPU. Okay, so this queue consists of the process that are residing in a main memory and ready and stored as a linked list. Now the device queue. Now this queue consists of the process that are waiting for a particular IO device. It is possible that during execution of process, we need some input output operation. So in that scenario, uh, another queue will be required that consists of the process that waiting for a particular IO device. Each device has its own device queue. Okay, because a printer can be accessed by the defined process. So which program or which process will be executed fast by that IO, or by that printer, that should be stored in a queue. Okay, now this is the basic representation of a process scheduling. So initially a process has been created as new, then it will move to the ready queue. Then whenever it move to the ready queue, after that it will be executed by the CPU. Now it is possible that the execution of the CPU has been completed, then it will move to the terminated state. But if some IO request has been occurred during the process execution, so there will be some kind of input output request. After that it will move to the input output queue, then input out after the completion of the input output event, again the process will move to the ready queue, and after that again the respective execution will be started. Next, we can see that it is possible that the time slice expired. That means we already know that a process cannot be, the span time of a process is not unlimited. Okay, it is defined for a limited time. So when that time span has been expired, so obviously again it will move to the ready queue, and it is waiting to be assigned by a CPU. Okay, and after that it is possible that during the process during the execution of a process, another process is need to be executed, or some program has been called, you can, so we can call it as the child process. Okay, so after that child has been executed, it will again the process has been moved to the ready queue, and after that CPU will start again for the execution. And moreover, another scenario is also possible, that is whenever some kind of interrupt has been occurred. So in that scenario, CPU move to the waiting stage, or process is moved to the waiting stage. After that interrupt occurs and interrupt event completed, it will move to the ready queue, and after that again CPU will execute the process from the ready queue, and terminate it after the completion. So this is the representation of a process scheduling. Now earlier this slide we have mentioned this term, that is the process control block. That means whenever a process is going on, all the current activities, all the information associated with the current activities of the process has been stored, need to be stored. So basically process control block is a memory segment that stored several information, like process state, that means new, waiting, ready. All these are process state. Like program counter, what are the current memory location, and what are the next memory location where next instruction will be fetched, that is stored in the program counter. Stack pointer, the value of the stack pointer is also stored in the PCB. Process number, process counter, all the process has some kind of number, and all the programs some kind are um, monitored by or mentioned by some kind of, sorry, all the process has some kind of number that should be stored, also stored. And program counter, as you already told, that next memory location that should be fetched, that is denoted by the program counter. And the register, all the information related with the CPU scheduling information, memory management information, accounting information, all should be stored in the this register. And memory management information are stored in the in the corresponding memory limits. And IO status information, number of files, number of input output, all the store will be stored in the list of open files. So this is the a simple block diagram of a PCB. Basically, it stored all the necessary information that is related with a process. So all the what are the important information? Process number, process state, program counter, stack pointer, different scheduling information that are need to be stored in the register, memory management information that's stored in the memory limits corresponding segment, and accounting information. Okay, what is the accounting information mean? What is the span time? What is the start time, burst time, execution time, delay, etc. So all this information, information will be stored. And IO status information, that means when any kind of file need to be um, accessed by some kind of input output. So all this information will be stored. Okay, so this is the PCB or process control block. Now the coming to the scheduler. So we already described that a scheduler is a decision maker that select a process from one scheduling queue to another, and it's allocate CPU for the execution. We should remember that one program, or sorry, one process will be executed by CPU at any instant. Okay, so that is the function of scheduler, to allocate the CPU for the execution. Now, any of OS has three type of scheduler. First one is the long term scheduler. We can also call it as job scheduler. Next one is the short term scheduler. It is also called as CPU scheduler. And third one is the medium term scheduler. Okay. So what is long term scheduler? Long term scheduler or job scheduler select a process from disk, then it load to the main memory, then it start for the execution. Okay, as the name suggests, long term, that means it takes longer time for the execution. So it execute much less frequently. And moreover, long term schedule control the degree of multi-programming. Okay, and we should remember that long term during the long term scheduling, during the long term scheduling, as the interval between the execution is longer, then therefore the scheduler can afford more time to select a particular process for the execution. So this is the long term scheduler, just it will take long time, just remember it. Then the short term scheduler, so as the name suggests, it take less time, and it is also called as the CPU scheduler. And this type of scheduling occur very frequently. A process for this short term scheduling may take only few milliseconds before waiting for an IO request. Okay, so short term scheduler or CPU scheduler select a process from the process that are ready to execute it. It should be remember. In case of CPU scheduler, all the processes that are in ready state, that should be controlled by the CPU scheduler or short term scheduler. Whereas in case of long term scheduler, the corresponding program program is initially stored in the disk, then it's loaded in the main memory, then it will started for the execution. That means it will take the long time for job scheduler. But in case of CPU scheduler, the process which are in ready state, that should be start to executed by the CPU scheduler. And medium term scheduler, last one, it is the intermediate between the long term and short term scheduler. And there are possible that two type of process can be described. First one is the IO bound process. So what are the IO bound process? Here CPU spend more time for doing input output operation than the computation. And in case of CPU bound process, they spend more time doing computation. Okay, and in case of CPU bound, as they are doing spend more time for the computation, the CPU burst or execution time is very high or very long for the CPU bound process. Whereas in case of CPU IO bound process, the corresponding CPU burst or execution time is less. So in this class we have studied the concept of process, the difference between a program and process, and the process scheduling, process control block, and different scheduler. Thank you. If you have any question, please post them.